Okay. This is my Canoeing the Mountains submission. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was super interesting to hear the perspective from a pastor who has been told that the way that you're running your ministry is not like he was the problem. And so I really admire the humility that he took. As I evaluate the questions that we were asked in the submission, I think about things that could create tension for the nonprofit that I have developed. And the first that came to mind was just like, how do we expand the demographic? Maybe it feels a little bit selective with just South Dallas families. Are people like, how can we, the tension of, are there too many Black students? Are there too many white students? Are there too many Hispanic students? And that making, especially with what we're looking at culturally, not enough diversity per se. I could see some people having negative feedback there. Then additionally, anxiety around, man, where are we gonna find funding? How are we gonna continue to bring in different cohorts of students? How are we gonna find those students? What does like outreach look like? Does that mean we need to have someone like a marketing sales role or a development role to go and seek those folks out? I think that that could cause tension and anxiety around if there's enough students to be able to fill those roles, be able to fill for enough for the teachers to get to be there for those students as well. So enough roles for the teachers and then space for the students as well. And then just thinking about another fear or anxiety that could come up is, what do we do with space? And I think the best way that we as a team in nonprofit corporate America, is ultimately we need to come around the solution, come around the tension, and look at it from all different sides and evaluate from there what is the best course of action in a small regard of, hey, what's the next best small step? And then long term, how are we going to omit that problem from happening in the future? And then secondly, the second question is at some point down the road, seek to revise or change your ministry. I think the way that that could look is we could expand beyond that of the business world in the realm of corporate America. Like, what does it look like for us to be more of a, STEM platform for medicine, science, chemistry, things like that? How do we equip people in those spaces who have a more of a, bright, creative mind that wants to go towards that career path as opposed to just corporate skills and all of that? Like I said, expanding into other STEM areas, but then also just thinking about from like a sports perspective, what does that look like to walk with God and have a biblical worldview as these students are going through their day-to-days as they're doing sports as well. So I think there's definitely a lot of room, which is great about the program that it can expand, but ultimately the change is probably going to be small and incremental more in a workspace before it's in a sports space. But hypothetically, I think how we would address that change is more just hearing the feedback from our students, hearing the feedback from what our staff is experiencing, and from there, that's going to be measurable over the, a series of years. It's not going to be like, oh man, the first quarter we've got the change. That's going to be over a series of years that we're going to be able to kind of track that more. But I think as we grow in scale, we're going to start to see that either this model works or it doesn't work and kind of go from there per se.